Being a section president has truly been the honor of a lifetime. There have been lots of good times and memories I will never forget. But I feel like with all this, I need to tell you something more. How about this? I am a professional loser. Yeah, now I understand you might be thinking right now, Dennis, what in the world are you talking about? You're the section president. You are not a loser. And while being the section president is an amazing accomplishment, it has not been an easy drive to get where I am now. There have been many bumps, potholes, and all kinds of things on the road that have got me where I am today. And while the loser seems to have a negative connotation, I believe that it's more because it is all those moments of failure and disappointment where I have found true success. From a very early age, it seemed like I was always losing. From relay races in preschool to sparring and grappling tournaments in junior high, it seemed like I could never be the winner. I'd always hear, keep trying, or you'll be better next time. But those words just frustrated me even more because at the time, I thought I was a failure. Going into my freshman year of high school, I was ready to stop losing, and I wanted to be successful. My first opportunity to be a winner was at the very own Section 19 Creed speaking competition. Going into the competition, I spent many hours, day and night, preparing for myself for the event. And finally, when the day came, and the judges called me into the room, I knew it would be my time to shine. I went into the room, shook the judges' hands, stood front and center, and began by saying the FFA Creed by E.M. Tiffany. But it was at that moment that I realized that I had completely forgotten the creed. I know, literally every creed speaker's worst nightmare, and I did it. After what seemed like hours of awkward silence, I eventually broke the silence and began saying the creed. Even though I did not get through it word for word as I originally intended, I still got through it, answered the judges' questions, and then returned to my advisor in tears. I explained to him what had happened and apologized for being a failure and wasting his time. It was at that moment he taught me a very valuable lesson on what it really means to be successful, and I would like to share that with you. After he let me calm down a bit, he posed a question for me. He asked if I thought tonight had been successful. And after staring at him for a moment, I shouted at him angrily about how I thought tonight had been a total failure and a waste of everyone's time. Mr. Wollin then asked me if I had learned the creed. And it was at that moment when the gears in my head started turning, and I realized that I had been successful. Not only had I memorized the 6 sentences of what it meant to be an FFA member, but I got to learn something that made me become bigger than myself. After the results were announced, I was proud to be 18th out of 20 because I knew I had truly been successful. I didn't know it at the time, but that lesson was all part in making me the man, leader, and professional loser that I am today. We are all human, and we've all had disappointments in our lives. This afternoon, I want to give you an important lesson on being a professional loser. From creed speaking to the major state office selection committee, my FFA career has definitely seen some moments where I've come short of my goals. Let me tell you, it is not easy being a professional loser. But sometimes it means being braver than being a professional winner. Because in order to be a professional loser, you have to be humble and open for self-criticism. You have to be the first person to admit that you're wrong and didn't do well, but still be aware enough to understand the lessons you learned to grow as a person. I believe it's a lesson that FFA teaches very well. As a leader, it is especially important to be a professional loser. There are times when your team or group might fall short of expectations, and as a leader, you must be ready to take the blame. Being a professional loser is not all bad, though, because all that losing will eventually lead to winning. In every loss, there is a lesson to be learned. I might not have won Creed speaking my freshman year, but I guarantee that if I didn't compete that night, I would not have the courage to be standing in front of you today. Section 19, I believe in every single one of you. I believe that you all have the ability to accomplish great things. Do not be afraid of failure. There is no such thing. If you are a professional loser and work hard to achieve a goal, you will succeed simply by giving it your best shot, because there is nothing more successful than believing in yourself. Thank you.